So, we're going to be talking about goal getter, and I love this idea. I was walking around and I went into Jessica Mackey's room. She's a teacher at Tollgate Elementary, and she had this huge, beautiful bulletin board on the back of her wall, and it was titled Goal Getter. And I just love that because when you are reaching different goals, you are like a go getter. And when we set those goals, again, it kind of motivates us to get things done and to check things off our list. So I kind of want to share this quick idea with you. Again, hers was totally non-digital, and she had everything printed out on the back, and then her students would kind of color with marker. So you should definitely check out her room or ask her to send you a picture of that board because it was really amazing. But this is the digital version. So what I'm thinking is a lot of teachers do morning meetings. And so during that time, they could present this and kind of talk about where they are as a class. And so it's kind of a class goal. So like as a class goal, our goal is 50 lessons of iReady a week or whatever the program or whatever you're trying to achieve. And then here is the individual lessons. So you can kind of see here the goal was 50 lessons per week. And as a class, they passed 100 lessons per the week. Here is a nice chart to kind of show students, and you could even have the students subtract. They could kind of see how many more lessons do we need to get there? How many lessons have we gone over? Having those different conversations with your students. So to do this, again, you can edit, customize however you want. This I just learned how to do from Slides Mania. So let's go ahead and first start there. So the first thing you're going to do is you can either start from a blank slide, and right here's that blank slide. You'll go into Word Art. So if you go into Insert, Word Art, and then you can type whatever you want to type. So again, I'm going to do that Goal Getter because I just love that title. Okay, once you have that, you're going to go into your fonts. It's funner or better if you do something that's like a bold, thick font. That kind of looks a lot better than maybe a smaller font. So I'm going to go in here and we're going to try to find something that's going to look really, really good to make that glowing effect. Okay, right there. Then the next step is right here with that fill color. You can kind of see if you go here, this is going to be darker and this is going to be the lighter color of that same color. So let's do a green. So I've got the darker color green, and then we're going to do that lighter green right there. And then the next step is you're going to go into Format, Drop Shadow, and then you're going to pull this down, and your transparency is going to be lighter, and you're going to grab the darker green color, and then you want this blur. And so you can kind of play with it. I'm not a huge fan of that color right now. So let's kind of see. And again, I kind of liked what I was doing here. So you can see right here on this one, that transparency is right here, and that blur is right here. And again, I'm not a huge fan of this. So we might have to pick a different color. But you can kind of see and how that's going to work. So let's try orange. Okay. So there, that looks a lot better. Let me go ahead and refresh. Okay, so there's my orange color. And again, that was just doing word art, and then you pick the bigger, like the brighter color as the paint bucket, and then your little outline is going to be the lighter color of that. And then once you do your colors, you're going to go into here, Format Options, Drop Shadow, turn it on, and then you're going to play with the transparency and this blur radius. Okay, so there is my Goal Getter effect, and I just kind of really love how that's kind of like that neon color. And again, I learned that from Slides Mania. The next thing that I'm going to do is you can kind of see over here, I want to let my class know what is our goal for. So again, I can just kind of copy and paste. I could customize this. You could add a date right here. That could really help your students be motivated as well. And then once you've got that all set up, and I love having the date on there because I want my students to feel successful. But here they already passed the date, so or they beat their goal before the date. And I could even say like, we beat our goal by 10 days or whatever you want to do. You could also, as you get going through the school year, maybe have like a competition. Can we beat the October date before we beat the September date, and get your students kind of motivated that way as well. Then the next step. So there's two different ways. So right here, you can kind of see, and I'm going to move this one up here. You can see right here, this is just a graph. And so to get that, I just went to insert, and then I went into chart, and I did a column. Once I open up that column, it's going to create a graph over here. And I'm going to click this little icon right here, and I hit open source. So again, this little drop down arrow, open source. Once I have that, this is my graph. And then above it is where I can edit all of the things that I need to edit. So I'm going to call this lessons. I'm going to get rid of this because I don't need it. But you could, if you wanted to do multiple different check-in points, feel free. But again, I just want to focus on iReady. So I've got goal here, and I got lessons passed here. Okay, so right now my students are beating their goal. And again, I can go in here, and every day I can say, okay, students completed 20 lessons for the week. Now they completed 21 more lessons, and so that score goes up. And hey, we beat our goal. So this is just a great way to kind of show students how they're doing on their scores. So to change the colors of these graphs, you go right here and you click that color where it says auto. I'm going to change this. And again, we went with oranges, so I'm going to make that orange. And then I'm going to make this one that lighter orange. Okay. And so that is just kind of how you quickly go over and do that. And then once you've got all of your graph set up, you're going to go back here and hit update. When you hit update, it's going to get the right colors and the right numbers of your graph. And so if I go in later, let me go ahead and change these colors to match my graph. So that way my students can quickly see how they're doing on this bar graph. And again, you could create different competitions. Like in the month of September, we got this. In October, we want to do this in this many days. And really push your students to aim and get those goals. Okay, so let's say I want to edit this. So I'm going to exit out of this tab real quick. Drop down, open source. And let's say my students completed another 10 lessons. Okay, so I'm at 41. Let's do 51. And you can see the graph change. And then over here, all I do is hit update. So anytime you need to update, you're just going to go in, edit that graph, and then update. Okay, so this is one option. This is you kind of controlling it. You're looking at the data and you are going in and you are updating that data. Now, maybe you're like, okay, I want my students to track it. Here is a Google Sheet right here in this description down here in the speaker notes. You're going to open this. Once you open this, and let's go ahead and duplicate this real quick. And if you like the font, if you like the colors, just go in and change it. So let's go ahead and let's do like a reddish color. Let's see how that looks. Oh, well, that's fun. Okay, and then format options, and I'm going to do that dark red again. Okay, I like that. Okay, so right there, I've got my new goal setter or goal getter sheet, and I'm going to keep these colors. So again, I like to go in and I kind of like to color match so that my students can see where I'm pulling from. And I might make some of these colors white as the font just so you can see it better. But for right now, it's going to stay the way that it is. Let me go back and redo that. Okay, so right there, I've got my format all set up. I'm going to click again this in the speaker notes. This is a sample. I use conditional formatting. I've got your totals all set up and I got your graph. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to File, make a copy, and you probably want to call it whatever your name is, or maybe the date or whatever you want to do. But again, this is going to be kind of that original copy. When you make a copy of this, it is going to save your conditional formatting and everything. So don't make a copy of the Google form. You want to make a copy of the Google Sheet. So that way it remembers all of that formatting options. Okay, and we'll just give it a couple minutes. There it is. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete these rows. Okay, and actually I want to delete this one to make sure it's going to work. Okay. And so right now we've got our goal, and I'm going to change this to 75. Okay, so on here, I want to change this goal to 75. And I'm also going to get rid of that chart. Okay, I added these labels in here just because I wanted the font to be kind of the same on my Google Sheet. Okay, so right here, I've got my spreadsheet. You're going to click Form, go to edit form if you want to. And here you can update anything that you might want to update. So instead of having people type in the email addresses, you can go in and restrict it. So feel free to do that. Also, if you want to add a reflection question, you can do that as well. Or do you need a check-in? But I wanted to keep it pretty simple for my students because they're going to be filling this out a lot. Right here where it says copy of, you might want to, again, change it to your name. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill this out like a student would. So let me go ahead and type in my first and last name. I passed, let's say, 3 lessons today, and I got it. This is going to submit on my Google form. Okay, see how the conditional formatting remembered? And then we did not save the total. So I'm going to walk you through how to do that. But again, that conditional formatting can really help you because if a student goes in here and they put that they don't have it, you can check in with them and kind of go over that lesson, give them some additional resources if they want. So let's say I did 1 lesson and I have no clue. Okay, so today I did 1 lesson. You can see the timestamp of it. And again, no clue. I can leave notes over here if I want. The next step that you're going to do is you're going to highlight everything from 3 all the way down. So see how you're highlighting everything until that blue. And you're going to go over here and you're going to do functions and sum and hit enter. Okay, 3 plus 1 is 4, so it is adding correctly. Over here, it is tallying up how many lessons your students have done. Okay, I'm going to go in as another student real quick. And this time, I'm going to say that I've passed, let's do 10 lessons, okay? And I need some work. Submit. And you can see that it's still tallying. So again, you want to highlight everything until that blue row and it will tally it up. And then over here is my graph and I'm just going to hit Command C. So I'm going to highlight it. So click it, Command C to copy it, go over to your Google Sheet, paste it and link the spreadsheet. Okay, the reason you want to link the spreadsheet is because anytime a student goes in to update, so like every morning I might show the progress of our class. And so right here I could go in, change my name, put lessons passed, and you could also do time if you wanted to. Okay, so if you want to, I'm going to say 45. That way I can show you my graph. If you wanted to, maybe you're tracking time as a class. Maybe every month it's different what you're kind of looking at. Feel free to kind of do that and explore. So right here, my graph did not update, but it did over here. So just a reminder, you have to hit that update. So again, have your students be responsible. So 4 and 5 are more of those students taking responsibility, and in the speaker notes is how to kind of set that up. If you want to use my Google form and all of that information, feel free. But I hope this kind of helps you organize what you kind of want for your classroom and what you expect from your students, because I think goal setting can really help motivate students, especially when you're kind of making it a class effort to reach certain lessons passed, or maybe you focus on time 1 month. You change what you're looking for every single month. So again, feel free to use this in your classroom.